Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm stuck where I'm at. The leases giving me hope that I can get unstuck.
Yeah, like God has a bigger picture and a place for you in that bigger picture, right?
I believe so.
Good. Yes.
Yeah, I'm out in the world, right? But I think it's more than leading people to Christ. It's helping to become whole people.
Yeah.
And yes, the same thing just stirs me up.
Yeah, it's sort of like, you know, we're supposed to bring as many people to heaven as possible, but I'm not really crazy about bringing a lot of really screwed up, broken people to heaven who never got the abundant life. I think something's wrong with that picture. I want to bring a lot of people to heaven who are also healthy and happy and fulfilled and holy and finding the life. So I agree with you. What else? What else did you evoke in you? Yeah.
I think that last part about are you willing to trust God again and dream big, that's 10 years ago, that's what I wanted. And somewhere along the way, you know, I believe that I can do that. And I think somewhere along the way, we tend to all lose that.
Yeah.
So, and what you said yesterday about Jesus didn't die for us to cope better. I think a lot of people are just trying to.
Yeah. Bill Hybels says that the universe is moving southward. Second law of it's too early. Second law of thermodynamics, entropy, the universe is moving toward a stage of disintegration. And he says the job of the leader is to put energy coming northward. That your and our job is to keep putting energy from God and the body and the Word and the research this way, not only for our people and our organizations, but also for ourselves. So it's a constant battle of going against entropy. So, I mean, you finish this course here, you'll be great, but you've got to be out there doing this over and over again because the universe goes the other way. Great. All righty. We don't need the other video. We're good. By the way, am I amplified? No. Well, were you going to be there, sit there and just be compliant and codependent and not confront me on my sin and my irrelevance? Whoa! Okay. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2.
John, that sounds terrible.
Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2. See, that's the model there. See, except that the Bible says, speak full of grace and truth. That was truth in contempt. See, that's not what we're looking for, but it's progress. How long we got? We're done at 10?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Did you respond to my challenge to not do a whole lot really of deep stuff? Most of you kind of went, no. I had several deep conversations after that. But what did you do last night? I'm kind of a last night guy. Yeah.
I colored for 2 hours.
Colored?
I love that.
What, you mean you got a coloring book? A what coloring book? Stress. Can I see it sometime? I need one, I think.
There's
Okay.
a great app for that.
Well, if God wants you to go from black and white to color, you're doing just great. So, what else? What did the rest of you guys do? Yes, Sherry, what'd you do?
I watched the Hallmark Channel, the Baker Detective, and I was waiting to see if her and the cop kissed, but they didn't.
Sherry wanted to watch Hallmark to see if her and the cop kissed or not, because that's what I wanted people to do last night. All right, guys, what'd you guys do? Went for a run. Okay, got the mojo going, got the endorphins going. Yeah. Somebody else? Yeah.
We went out to dinner with our group and had fun.
So you had your third process group at dinner. Right? I know how you guys do it. Yeah.
I played Minecraft for the first time with 10 and 12-year-old nephews and nieces.
That's a great way to get the static out of your head. Yeah, what'd you do?
I overate and used a bedroom.
This is the grad school I wish I'd been in. All right. Just take care of yourselves. I mean, you know, as Jerry said yesterday, Proverbs 4 teaches us to guard our hearts. And so I want you to stay balanced. This is a very intense program, and it's got a very, you know, intense few days. And so guard your heart and guard your body and all that good stuff. Take care of yourself. I'm going to do something different. We're adding to the didactics, which if you've ever been, how many of y'all have been to Ultimate Leadership where me and Henry Cloud do there? Okay. Do you guys know when after I do a didactic, I would do a role play? We started thinking you guys are ready for this. Here's the deal. There are several training aspects to a graduate program, whether you're in leadership, counseling, or coaching. And we are attacking your brains in lots of different ways to make your brain change so you'll be a good leader, counselor, or coach, right? One of those ways is content. We believe in the content we think is biblical and research-based and works. The other is process group, which now you get it, and you're going to keep doing it, and it's going to keep scrambling you, and we like that. The other is the homework assignments and all that, the things that Scott and Jerry make sure you have. But another good one is a public role play, where I will act out with you, a volunteer, every didactic, a struggling relationship you have that you're in conflict with. It could be a boss. It could be a trusted employee who's cuckoo. You know, they've got great skills, but their diva attitude is driving me nuts, but are they indispensable? It could be your mom or your dad. It could be one of your kids. It could be a friend, spouse. But here's the way we'll work it, is you'll come up and you'll be that person. So you be the dysfunctional, crazy person that drives you nuts. I'll be the healthy you. And I will talk about the problem. I'll say, I'm so glad we could talk because I want to talk to you about the defensiveness or the production issue or how you are so crazy with me or whatever. And you be that person in all their dysfunctional glory. Just be as crazy as they are. You know, I can't believe it, I thought you were a Christian. Whatever, And you do all the crazy stuff, and I will handle it, and I'll give you modelings on things you can say and do, body language and empathy and holding to the truth that'll help you handle the relationship. I already got a volunteer. Are you in? All right. What's your name? Sarah. Sarah's in for the first one in the history of this graduate school. Thank you, Sarah. So at the end of my content, then I'll bring Sarah down and we'll do it. Now, here's my only request to you guys, because graduate level people are highly competitive. You're highly competitive. I mean, I've been in grad school forever, so I understand this. So please do me one grace mercy. Don't give me the most psychotic, sociopathic, schizophrenic person in the world that needs to be in a federal prison with a straitjacket and high medications. Because before I started figuring this out, all you competitive people go, I'll show him pathology. And they would give me a nightmare that I'm supposed to fix their personality in 3 minutes. And I'd utterly fail. And everybody would go, this program sucks, it doesn't work. And they get depressed and they give up on God and they lose their faith. I don't want that to happen. So give me a moderately pathological. Sarah, scale of 1 to 10, this person, what do you think?
She's not bad at all.
Okay. Oh,
I'd
good.
love to see her in a straitjacket.
Okay. Is everybody curious? Sarah, who is it? All right, your sister-in-law. We love sister-in-law role plays. It'll be great. So, yeah. How can you tell she's from Texas?
Can you tell? Because she's just crazy. She's wild.
They're all crazy. All right. Are you in Jerry's group? I'm so,
No, not in his group, but he was my supervisor.
I'm so sorry. We have a thing called Jerry-anon. If you've been Jerryized, it's a support group. Me and Scott are in it, and we just go get, Anyway. So be thinking of your one who wants to volunteer for tonight and tomorrow afternoon, and let us know. And we only got time for one. And by the way, I want guys to show up because don't let the gals do the heavy lifting here, right? So Sarah will forever be number one here. Okay. Grab your handouts, and we're talking about, I mentioned this yesterday, the 7 C's of relationship with the leader. Remember, this is a leadership talk which applies highly to the leader and the counselor and the leader and the coach, as well as the leader in the business organization, 501c3, for-profit, or whatever. And this material I've used with people that are, on their way to having their billion-dollar company or their Fortune 100 company, as well as therapists. It always applies. But remember, our 3 disciplines interact highly with each other. Counseling, coaching, and leadership interact highly with each other. I know that you guys went through my funnel model earlier in your pre-training. The 7 or 8 things in funnel. There's always, you got to start with mission, right? Who knows what's next? Vision. What's next? Core values. After that, different model. Yeah, well, here's the deal, is we're modifying that because I would have wanted to elevate culture. The bricks and bones of any organization start with mission, then go to vision, then your core values, and then your core values define the people you're going to get. You've got to know what you value to know who you want. So then culture's next. Mission, vision, values, then culture. After culture is your goals. What do you want to accomplish? What market sector do you want to take off on? What product or service do you want to have? Then after your goals is going to be your strategy, your strat plan. How do we get from A to B? And then you move to tactical behavior, and then you move from tactical behavior to vital behaviors, like what are the specifics? And that's sort of our nuts and bolts in leadership, which also applies to if you're in a private practice, if you're working in a church, if you're working as a coach or on your own. I don't care if you're a one-person business or you're a 10,000-person business, you must have those building blocks. Mission, vision, core values, culture, goals, strategy, tactics, and vital behaviors. Don't ever forget that. Now, I think the MOL students got a lot of that funnel already, but you counseling students and coaching students, you need that too. Remember those. The way that this talk fits in is in the 4th category of culture, because culture is about relationships and how people play together and fight together and solve problems together and feel with each other and all that sort of thing. And what we're finding out is that culture is much more important than we ever dreamed it was. Patrick Lencioni, the guy that wrote 5 Dysfunctions, friend of mine, great guy, he wrote a book called The Advantage, which if you are interested in these kind of matters, read The Advantage. A great book on how high culture creates high performance. So we're going to nail the relational life of you guys from the cultural aspect. So,
John, tell them about Tony Hsieh's Delivering Happiness from Zappos is another good book.
yeah, great book. You remember the Zappos guy that every time you fly in a airplane, there's kind of a Zappos thing in the little places where you put your luggage. Zappos changed the world, and he talks about, Hsieh wrote a New York Times bestseller about how if you can make sure that people are connected and feel good, not great, but good all the time, they're going to perform at very high levels. People are tying in competence plus character all over the place, right? You can have very competent people, but if the character issues aren't dealt with and they don't feel like they belong, they will not perform. Now, if you've got really happy, fun people who are lazy and don't know what they're doing, that won't work either. You've got to have the competence and the character. And this is where this fits in. A key Bible passage here has to do with sort of like where all this comes from. And I love this because Paul gives us, from a clinical standpoint, Paul gives us differential diagnostics of the different characterological issues of people, which I love the Bible came up with all this stuff before he did. It's just wonderful how God started all this. We urge you, brothers and sisters, to warn those who are idle and disruptive, encourage the disheartened, help the weak, be patient with everyone. In other words, you can't treat people like a cookie cutter. Some people need encouragement. Some people need a kick in the butt. Some people need warning. Some people need help. And the leader or the counselor that treats everybody the same way is going to lose them. People are wired differently. Now, we believe we have a model that shows you the different kinds of wiring and the different categories. So it's not this random, just do what you feel. There's a very deep science to this. But realize, companies and people need different kinds of treatment for their potential. So, let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a toxic person that you cared about, but they got in your life or in your business and you couldn't shake them loose? And how did that affect your happiness and your performance? My happiness and performance dropped considerably. Somebody else. That's great. You can't fire them. You're related to them. Or they're a key employee, but they're just got a bad attitude and very toxic, and how they affect your organization or your head.
Confusion, frustration.
I got confused and I got frustrated. Great. Yes.
They bring others around.
And they sort of attract others and bring them down with them. Good. Yes, sir. It's a total energy sucker. It drains you of everything. Here's one way you can tell you're the wrong person. After you've had lunch with them, do you need a nap? You know, God made relationships so after I have lunch with him, I go, I'm ready to kill the world. I'm going to go out and slay some dinosaurs. I'm going to change the world. Versus, oh my gosh, where's a bed? You know, that's the difference between a power-drained person and a person who's good for you. Well, here's what we found out. I have a model of the different kind of relationships high-performing people are in. And I'm going to challenge you to look at yourself as you go through this. And I want you to get a balance that most of us, I certainly did not have before I started dealing with this material. So here's the 7 C's. The first one is coaches. Now, a lot of you guys are going to be professional coaches. What is a coach? Someone who asks great questions. Good. An exhorter. Great. Encourager. Yeah. Pour something into you. Yeah. A coach is someone who has wisdom to give you to take you to the next level. And there are two very, very distinct, unique aspects of a coach. And you all need a coach. I have 3 right now. I'll have coaches until the bus hits me when I'm 90 because I've gotten so much. I will never outgrow the need for a coach. It blesses the coach as well? Well, don't tell that to my coaches. I'm not sure they feel blessed. But number 1 is a coach has an expertise that you don't possess. They're good at financial algorithms. They're good at business structural issues. They understand the structure of a business. They're good at strategy. They're good at the heart. They're good at family. They're good at your nutrition. I mean, my coach works with me. I got a nutrition and wellness coach. He's a Nazi, okay, but he's okay. And I've got that for me. And some people need a marriage coach, a parenting coach, but we all need somebody who has 10,000 hours in their life that we don't have. I don't have time to go find out the the little bitty stuff of my nutrition. I don't have the 10,000 hours. I'm doing other things, but he does. And I got coaches that work at very high levels. I'm pretty good with finance, but I got coaches that work at very high levels with finance that say, you're missing something on the formula here. I don't have 10,000 hours to go do that. So number 1, they have an expertise you don't have. Here's the second one, though. They have no personal need for you. Now we're getting to the holistic part. They have no personal need for your friendship, your mentoring, your discipling them. That's not what a coach does. They have their own sources of love and support and growth. They don't need you personally. That's why when people say, can my best friend be my coach? I go, mostly not. Mostly not. Let's call that a best friend. And here's why. They need to be free of any need for you so they can be the best for you. You see, if they need for you to fix their family, if they need for you to check on their quiet times and all that sort of thing, then they may have some reservations about hard truths they have to give you. But if they're kind of free of you and they don't need you for any, maybe you got to write them a check. Some of my coaches I pay. Some of my coaches do it pro bono. Just depends on the person. I got some that are retired that go, just don't even talk about that. Let's do it. Some people say, yeah, this is my living. I'm willing to pay for the ones that need it. I mean, that's their living because they're worth it. But if they don't have a personal need for you, they're free to go, I'm just going to throw a grenade at you because I don't need you to take care of me. That's why when I have my coaching appointments, you know, you always start a conversation, whether it's at Starbucks or your office or the phone, you always start a conversation with, how's everything going? So I'll say to my coach, how's it going? And he or she'll go, really good. Family doing okay? Yeah. Okay, let's talk about me. I just love that. As opposed to, so I heard Sammy's like not doing good on his grades. Yeah, can you really help me with that? Because Sammy's really, I don't want to do that. I want to be kind of about me. I'm either paying for it or committing to it. How's life? Good. Are you in a catastrophe? No. Great. Let's talk about me. So they have no personal need for you. So number 1, are you guys coachless? If you're coachless, we've got to help you find a coach, at least one, for some particular area of your life. Business, ministry, spiritual direction. Who's your Yoda? You got to have at least one Yoda. Yes, ma'am.
Can a coach, in a sense, be a therapist as well?
Yes. Therapists have special expertises that we don't have, and they also have no personal need for us. Great example. That's what spiritual direction's about. You get a good spiritual director, or you get somebody who's just killer in business development, right? Okay. There was a day when I started working on this field, that getting an executive coach for an executive was like a remedial hat. It was like, you're really on the way out, you're really screwed up. Oh, we got her a coach, meaning, oh my gosh. Now, Harvard Business Review, and you need to get the Harvard Business Review daily email, all the research, HBR, just go to hbr.com, sign up for it. It's some of the best research out there. They did a study on executive coaches, and now it's a perk. And if a guy changes from, an IT company to a manufacturing company, he's making, $12 million a year, he or she says, okay, let me see my comp package, let me see my equity position, what's my stock? Oh, who's my coach? It's like, I'd better have one. Now it's kind of a prestige thing, because the research has shown up that coaches make you more helpful. Don't forget that. You don't have everything. Number 2 is your comrades. And comrades means your comrades in arms. It's an Army term. How many veterans we got here, by the way? Thank you for what you did for our service. Thank you for what you did. Thank you very much. We wouldn't be here without you guys, and you don't get thanked enough. And comrades in arms means people in the foxhole with you. In other words, they are your growth partners, or what I have a model called your life team. And your life team is those people who are serious about their growth. They're not just hang out and go out and get a burger friends. I got a lot of those, but they're not my comrades. They want to grow in Christ. They want to be better. They want to achieve their potential. They're willing to pay prices to do it. And I used to drive to conferences all over the country. Me and Henry Cloud, we were kind of like the growth monsters. And we didn't have any money. We were grad students. But we were life partners with each other. We go to this conference with this great therapist or this great business guru or whatever. And we would talk about it and have coffee about it. What did that mean? Do I agree? Do I not disagree? We'd pray about it. I think a life team has several aspects to it. One, as my number is somewhere between 3 and 7. 3 and 7. Now, if you got a good marriage, your spouse is part of that. If you got a struggling marriage, well, you got to get one in addition to that, right? Because if you got a tough marriage, you got to have other sources of healthy and holy love. So 3 to 7 people. And by the way, they don't need to know each other. My life team's all over the country. I got some that don't know each other, because I would love to have my life team in my living room every week. But what I found out is that really high-performing people are spread out. They're doing stuff. They're building businesses and building churches and starting counseling ministries. So I just wanted the best. So some of them are in my area, because some of them are from my men's group I told you about. Some of them aren't. So yeah, if you can get everybody in your living room once a week, God bless you. I'm not in that world. But I got 3 to 7. Actually, I got more, because I'm kind of a high-need person. I got about 10. And they're all over the country. So they don't have to know each other as you're in constant contact with them on a regular basis. Next thing is, they have to be serious about growth. They're committed to this process. They want to be better people, spiritually, and physical health, and emotionally, and relationally, and in their business, and in their finances, and their ministry. Not just sort of like a dilettante. Who knows what a dilettante is? A dilettante's a person who's sort of like, sort of like they're a sampler. They sample over this and they get tired, sample this. Like when Jesus said, watch out to be the kind of plant that grew up and then when the cares of the world took over, they die. That's a dilettante. You don't want that. You want people to say, I'm paying a high price for my growth. So your life team you have to pick carefully. I'm very happy with my life team. I've had it for many years. It works for me. They know when to love me, and they know when to kick my butt. And guess what? I kick their butt too. Because life teams, that's the third aspect, they're mutual. That's the difference between a coach and a life team. A life team is me and you and me and you. We sit together for lunch. It might be half of it's my life and half of it's her life or his life. Or it might be, hey, I'm in a 911. It's all about me today. But next week, it's all about him today, right? It's mutual. It's mutual growth. And here's my problem with you guys, because you're high performing. I know you very well. I've worked with thousands of you. Here's your number one problem. Any relationship you get in, you lead it. Any group you get in, you lead it. Any lunch you get in, you counsel them. You're the mentor of mentors. You're the Yoda for the world. I know you guys, because I am you guys. And you got to repent. You got to repent of leading every little group or Bible study or support group or anything you're in. You got to go mutual and say, I've got needs too. I'm always amazed when we start a process like this. I've done this with other organizations. And have they gotten the 21 relational need model, Scott? No. Okay, I have a model of 21 relational needs you had. You're a needy guy just like me. You have 21 needs that I've gotten down to. I'm going to write a book about it. And when people in your process, we were doing the debriefing, we said, how are they doing? We said, well, we asked them what their needs are, and they went, what? Needs? I have needs? We all do that. We all, as high performers, we take care of needs, we minister to needs, we help with needs. How about yours? What? Just how we're wired. So you got to unwire that and say in your life team, I'm really struggling with self-acceptance today. I screwed up a $200,000 deal and I feel like an idiot and I feel like I'm a loser. And somebody's going to say, you did screw up. You made some bad choices and I'm for you. And I love you and I'll help you with it. How can I help you? She's got a need met. Or you might say, I am so isolated. I'm just in this, I've got the corner office here and I can't open up to my board because they'll kill me. I can't open to my employees because they won't respect me. And I'm so lonely, and somebody goes, I know, I'm with you. I'm in the well with you. If you're not meeting your needs and getting your needs met by the body of Christ, you're going to crash and burn. That's what the life team is for. How many people have somewhat like, you didn't know it was called a life team, but you got something like that? Okay. What's it meant to you to have a life team?
It's a place to go when I'm crashing.
Yeah. It's a place to go when I'm crashing, and it's also a place to go before I crash. I got to have a place to go when I'm still doing good and my life team goes, if you don't do this, you're going to crash. I need the preventive stuff as well as the pull me together and glue me together stuff. Get your life team. It may be people in your cohort group. It may not, but you got to have that together. And I mean for life. This is like antibiotics for life. The third one is a colleague. And colleagues is because we're all in either business or church or organizations or whatever. We are social beings who are meant to work. You're going to be working all your life. Do you know what they did to find the research on people who retired and didn't do anything of meaning? They do a thing called die. Most of them, they found that when they get out and they go, either I'm going to build a second business because that was fun, 2.0, or I'm going to do a service thing and I'm going to be in a developing country building wells. I got a buddy who's, I don't know, he's got a $20, $25 million business. It's a nice business. And he's kind of got it on autopilot now. He checks in 20 hours a week, but he's got really good people. You know what he does? He's the chairman of the board of Free Wheelchair Mission. Free Wheelchair Mission. Now I'm going with him next year because he goes to other countries with his wife and brings a bunch of his friends like me. We hand out thousands of wheelchairs to people with no legs in developing countries. He'll probably live till 90 because he's passionate about it. He loved his business days. He still likes business, but he found something else too. So you do a service, or you do another business, or you mentor people, or you consult with people. But the ones that say, I'm going to drink lemonade and sit in a hammock in Tahiti, you're going to die. It's just what the research says. God has a plan, and the plan is for you to be productive. Did I just depress everybody? Like, I'm going to work really hard at the Townsend Institute, but then I want to retire and go to Tahiti. He told me I'm going to die. Yeah, I am telling you that. Because God has a way of, you're just not happy till you're productive. You can't just sit and read Fabio novels all day and drink lemonade. You just can't. Most of the guys kind of think about that. Anyway, so God meant us to work. So you need colleagues. You need people to work around you. And your colleagues have to have two characteristics. One is they need to be competent. You need to be making sure, and we have a lot of training for you on this, are you making sure that the people that you have control over, authority over, are the best, or just because you feel like either they're good but they are lunatics, but because they are good, I'm going to put up with the lunacy? You got to watch out for that. You got to do a thing I call pruning. You got to start pruning. And here's the deal. No one is indispensable. I'm sorry. You might say, they're the only pipe fitter in 200 miles, and then go get one from somewhere else. Don't let anybody's character issues hijack you into an alliance in business with them because they're competent. They're great, but they're a diva. They're great, but they're a prima donna. They're great, but they bug everybody. Nobody's indispensable. I'm not and you're not. So they've got to be competent. You've got to be first in class and get the competence, but you've also got to have people who have character. Meaning, They like people, and they're good with people, and they care, and they believe in your mission. So your colleagues have got to be first class. Don't ever compromise the people you're around because somebody's good at something and they got an awful character issue. Every time I've counseled somebody, from a high-level CEO to a board of directors, and I've said, this person's got to go, I'm sorry. And they go, well, they've been here 20 years, we feel guilty or whatever. And I'll check with them. They'll do it. They'll cut the cord. I'll check with them 6 months later. 100% say the same thing. Not 90%, not 95%. Guess what? 100% tell me. Why didn't I do that before? I'm so happy. And they're not out in a tin cup, you know, in the freeway saying, Sam fired me, God bless you. They're not doing that. They found something else. Do them a favor. You will not regret it. I know you feel guilty and obligated and just probably nepotism in your life. I get that. You will not regret it. Hard stuff, but good stuff. And then there's casuals. And casuals are kind of like beer and a burger friends. You know, well, like with my neighbors, I'm always trying to do this friendly evangelism thing. Hey, let's go out for dinner and movie, me and the wife and you guys. Or, you know, somebody at church that you kind of met that's sort of nice, or somebody at work. And a casual is just a nice person to be with. They're not into growth. But, you know, there's two things that casuals are good for. One is that you just enjoy life with them. There's some people I just love being with. They couldn't care a bit about my Christianity or me and my process group. They just want to talk about fishing or great movies. So one is I can be in the moment with them. I can be existential with them. And I love relationships like that. And they'll say something like, what do you do again? Well, it's kind of hard to explain, but and they'll go, you know, I'm into like personal growth. If you see my books, they're in leadership and self-help. I'm a Christian, but I'm also working. And they'll go, yeah, anyway, I got this movie I saw. And I love them. And my wife loves them. And we just passed the day. But the second thing is, they are a farm team. What am I saying? Say it again. Beyond colleagues. Go up a step. They're a farm team for comrades. Because you'll start to have an engagement and you'll go, I got vulnerable. And they went, tell me some more. I struggle too. And they'll go, I never talked like this to anybody. And I do that vulnerability thing where if you don't have a life team, this is my rule to you. If you go, I don't even know what a life team is. I can't do it. I live in the Sahara Desert. I can't do this. I say, okay. No. Go to Outlook. We've all got Outlook. Go to your contacts list. The average American has about 700 people in their contact list. And I've done this because I eat my cooking. And I went through the list and I just said, suppose I didn't have any friends. And I went through it. And I found like 20 people out of this. I got like a few thousand. I found 20 people and I thought, that's really cool people. I like them. They shared values. And you invite one to a Starbucks for lunch or whatever. And you take a baby step of vulnerability. So you sit in there and you talk about life. What do you do? What's politics? And where do you live? Where are you from? And then you take a little vulnerable step and you say something like, yeah, sometimes I struggle in some areas. And it might be my business is struggling, or I'm gaining weight that I wish. I got a kid going upside down. My marriage is struggling or whatever. And the person will do one of three things that will let you know if they're potential for a life team. First thing they'll do is panic and change the subject. So you'll say, I'm kind of struggling. They'll go, this weather, what do you think about this weather? Yes. What are they telling you? You just triggered something I don't want to look at. You know, you triggered the beam in my eye, and I don't want to mess with that beam. So I'm going to talk about the weather, or whether, you know, Deflategate, Tom Brady got, you know, enough money taken away from him. They're just telling me I'm disqualified. I can't handle it. I'm too anxious. The second thing they'll do is that they'll try to fix it. Yeah, I got a kid who's struggling. Well, the first thing, there's 3 books I want you to get. After you get that book, I found a great therapist. And you know there's a rehab center. You know, like, I just said, pray for me. My kid's kind of screwed up. So watch out for the fixers. Watch out for the diverters. But the third kind is money. Because the third one will go, really? I had no idea. Tell me some more. And then you'll talk about it, and then they'll go, I don't tell people this, but I got a struggle too in my marriage, or my self-help, or my spiritual life, and all of a sudden you'll feel this opening up inside, and they've made it to the first test, but you're not done. Because you vet your life teams very seriously. So you got a second level, which is 3 weeks later you have another lunch, and you do it again. And they go, Yeah, I've been thinking about what you said. Honestly, I'm not sure I'm in the right profession. I'm kind of miserable. I'm making a lot of money, but it's not me. I don't tell people about this because they think I'm an idiot, but I question on that. And you go, tell me some more about that. And you tell them your struggle. And then you kind of go away going energized like, man, I'm getting something here. If it goes well the third time, you do this. See, you don't start off with the first one saying, I need a life team, Sam. I'm into the process of spiritual and emotional growth, and I'm stalking you. And so, oh, that would just attract really healthy people. Just, can I suck you dry for like 12 years? That's all I'm asking. Yeah, don't do that. That's stalking behavior. You might get a restraining order on you. So you kind of like had the little lunch, stuck your toe out, they stuck their toe out, second lunch. Third lunch, if it goes well, that's when you say, you know what? I love kind of our conversations. I get a lot from it. And honestly, I'm trying to put together people in my life that I'm committed to because I found that I can't really grow at the levels of achieving my potential that would be meaningful without the right people. And I found that I'm so busy and you're so busy that I can't just have these drive-by meetings. Well, see you when I see you. Do you know what see you when I see you means? I ain't going to see you. It ain't going to happen with my schedule. But to say, I'd like to make a commitment on a schedule. I'd like to have lunch every couple of weeks, breakfast every couple of weeks. Now you're putting into calendar. When you go into calendar, now you're committed. And the person might go, I've been dying for this. I don't know anybody I could talk to about this. And they're signed up. Or they might go, yeah, too busy. Might be the right person, wrong time. But you get to that third level, and then you ask them for the calendar. They might go, I'm in. Tell me when, and you're fine. That's your life team. So when we get, that's what I said about, that's how you move from the casual to the life team. And I've used them as a farm team, just people I thought were nice and cool and great values, and I had good chemistry. We were mutual kind of people, and it works. The next one is care. And care has to do with the person who has nothing to offer you, absolutely nothing to offer you. They don't have money or anything, but we're called to care. It could be a domestic violence shelter. It could be business mentors, guys in their early 20s that just desperately need an older mentor to help them bring them along in business. It could be a patient you've got in your practice that has no money, but I believe every therapist ought to have a certain charity box of a certain percentage of people you see for almost nothing. I mean, not nothing, because everybody's got it. I'm really big on skin in the game, but very little. Or maybe a mission overseas in a developing country where all you'll ever get from them is thank you, and that's good. And what you found out about care is that care is God's antidepressant. Because on a neurological level, they did all these studies on altruism, and when you give to somebody that has nothing to give you except to look you in the face, and they go, thanks, I don't know if I'd be here without you. That's all you get. It's like Prozac hits your system. You feel endorphins, you feel happy, you feel, I can make it another day. And they found out this from a neuroscience thing called mirror neurons. Anybody familiar with mirror neurons? Got to read up on these. There are neurons in my head and your head, so that when I have a feeling, maybe I'm angry for whatever reason, or maybe I'm discouraged. Your neurons can actually read my neurons over space, and they make you feel discouraged in the way that I feel discouraged. They did this with monkeys, some studies in Italy, and it changed the whole world because they found out we are understanding, get this, the neurological basis for empathy. That God created in the hardwiring a way to have empathy, that monkeys did this. One would feel sad, and they had their heads tied up to the electrodes, and they found these neurons would go, she's sad, I feel sad. She's happy, I feel sad, happy. And it changed everything. So your neurons, when that business mentee, that counselee, that coachee, that company, when they're struggling and you feel something and you do something about it, you feel great. It's as if God created a system to keep us from killing each other. To keep the human race functioning generation after generation after generation, because we would kill each other without empathy. So you got to have the care. It's just good for you. And they have nothing to give you, and that's good, because then we're part of something larger than ourselves. Then there's the chronics. Now I'm going a little darker now. The chronics are the people that need your care but aren't doing anything with it. See, care says thank you. You know, I want to help my village. I want to build my business. Chronics go, thanks for the advice. I'm not going to take it. I'm going to come see you next week. The Bible would call them fools. And I call them God bless them. A chronic is one of those God bless them people that they just don't learn the lessons. And you tell them, look, you know, this time do it differently. And they have this thing called reality, and you just told them, have this conversation, go get a job here, get your kid off drugs, stop enabling your children, and there's this thing called reality, and they're like this. Boom, 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 boom. I don't like reality. Boom, boom, boom. Who wins? Who wins when you're beating your head against reality? This is not rocket science. Reality. You get a headache. I get a headache from reality, and I learn. Fools, chronics, they don't learn. They just get this crease in their head. Sometimes I'll be doing seminars, and Henry and Cloud and I used to do a thing called Solutions. You remember Solutions back in the day? For 20 years, every Monday night until our kids got older, we would do a Monday night talk about something, you know, leadership or emotional issues or growth or whatever. About 500 people every Monday night. And so since I was there every week and he was there, we traded off, people would kind of be there for questions after, and I like to answer questions, so they'd be kind of a little line. So there's a line, I don't know, 12, 15 people, and I handle some questions, and then guy comes up and he says, I got a problem. I said, sure, what's your problem? He says, I got a business problem. I said, I love business. What's your business problem? He says, I got a problem in my directs because XYZ is happening. And I said, okay, do this, this, and this. And he goes, thanks. So I leave, and he leaves. Problem solved. I come back. The line's there. 2 weeks later, the guy's back. And I went, oh, nice to see you again. He says, yeah. I said, so what's your problem? They got a different problem? He goes, no, same problem. I said, is this the one about the business thing in your directs? He goes, yeah. I said, do you remember my homework? He goes, yeah. I said, did you do it? He goes, no. Why not? He says, I just didn't have time. Anyway, I got the same problem. And I said, I got an idea. This is world changing. Do what I said. And come back then. God bless him. Never saw him again. I guess he found another guru and just bugged him to death, but he didn't bother me anymore. And that's why I call him God bless. I mean, you read all the Proverbs about the fool. The fool just doesn't admit he's wrong or she's wrong, and they kind of beat their head against reality. And here's the problem. Chronics will suck you dry. Will suck you dry. It's that sister-in-law. Oh. Whoa! Didn't even know I was going there. The unconscious wins here. It's that sister-in-law or that relative or that buddy or that neighbor who makes the same mistakes with their kids and their marriage and their drugs in their life and their business, and you keep counseling because you're a leader and a giver and you're compassionate. You know what you are? You're a freaking codependent. Just diagnose the disease here. You're a rescuing, enabling, regressivizing codependent who is creating more entitlement. Look how toxic you are. Kim just had a come to Jesus moment. Don't take love, don't say it's about love. I'm sure you love these people, but say you have a pathology. I love people, but I have a pathology called rescuing and enablement, and I need to be cured of that pathology. And I have a whole training on how do you know the difference between loving that person and rescuing that person. I'll give it to you one day, because there's a big difference the Bible teaches between loving someone and rescuing someone, and most of you guys have that blurred. You can't tell the difference. And that's why you take so many naps after these meetings. So the chronics, God bless them, you might have to do a little pruning. Because we're always, I've got those in my life, but I used to give them a lot more time than I do now. Y'all got really convicted on that one, didn't you? You're kind of thinking, I'm so busy. They're all God bless them. Oh my gosh. Good. It's a good conviction. And then the last one is contaminants. And contaminants is like bad stuff. Contaminants are evil people. Do you know there's a thing called evil? And I hate to say it. But not everybody's just misunderstood and needs a hug. Okay? You guys are. I don't think we got any evil people here. But what I do know is there's some people that are addicted to the darkness, and they seek to kill and destroy. They're bad people, and the Bible teaches it. You know, there's a supernatural war out there. Ephesians tells us there are princes and principalities in the air, and we can't see them, and there's a devil, and he's real, and there's people who like that, and they're just mean, evil people, and they're kind of hopeless. Henry Cloud wrote a great book about all this where he says, and I adopted this, is that there's some people that they do need a long dinner and conversation. When you're with evil people, you need three things. Lawyers. What else? Guns. And what else? And money. Lawyers, guns, and money. Don't sit around and try to psychoanalyze and love and cure evil people. The Bible says you need to flee from that. And you need to set boundaries. And some people need lawyers and guns and money, and that's why these systems are in place. And a lot of you guys are kind of omnipotent because you're a high-performing person, and you think that your contaminant is really a care person. Watch out. Call evil evil. Because they're out to divide the body, divide you, destroy, and they need to be in jail. I'm sorry, that's what God built, jails. So watch out. Here's my point. Look at this list. Let me tell you the number one thing I find about high-performing people. You're all upside down. Right? You're all upside down. If you're to be healthy and find your mission and be the most emotionally and spiritually healthy person possible, find your gifts, go out and change the world for Christ, you got to be all this healthy stuff. Do you need to have a lot of the first or a lot of the bottom? This is not rocket science. I need to have a lot of the first. And you don't. You don't. You don't know your needs. You don't own your needs. You don't take care of yourself in the Proverbs 4 way. And you live on very little. And we're spending way too much time with the chronics and the contaminants. And some of you are spending too much time with the care. Some of you are on too many boards. You're on too many committees. You're in too many helping things. And the only one that you should never not be on is with the Institute. You should have to do that. But Scott Macon would kill me if I said that. But seriously, you probably need to say, I have this much time for care relationships in my year. And I can be on this many boards, and that's it. I had to cut back some stuff. And this person who wants me to disciple them, who's a chronic, God bless them, and wants me to sit there and listen to them gripe and moan about their life and want me to be with them every Saturday morning at 6:30, I can be with them maybe once a quarter instead of every morning or every week. And your contaminants, lawyers, guns, and money. Does that free up a little time? And what are you going to put in that time? Don't get me down here. I'm going to put coaches and comrades into that time. So bump up your coaches and comrades and prune back some of your care, some of your chronics, all your contaminants. Now let me ask you a misery. I love these. I have a thing called misery questions, which kind of gets you wanting to grow. How many people put up with a chronic or a contaminant for too darn long? Okay. Sir, what was the fruit of putting up with a chronic or contaminant too darn long in your life? Almost destroyed an entire ministry. That's a bad ROI. We call that a negative ROI. Somebody else. What did it do? Misery. It just caused me misery. Okay? It's a bad fruit. So you'll have to do is work on your guilt. That's what Process is a group for. Go to Jerry and Dennis and all these great people and tell them about your guilt. Oh gosh, I feel bad too. Fire them. So, but here's the thing: you can't add to your you can't add to your coaches, nor can you add to your casuals. I mean, to your coaches or your comrades. What did you say, Scott?
You need them by quarter till. I misread the schedule.
Do your role play, you got 30 seconds.
What? Okay.
So you can just wrap it up and then we're spring.
Okay. No, I submit to my authorities. Here's my point. You can't add to the top unless you prune the bottom. Don't start by adding to the top. Make the hard decisions about the bottom. You love them, but you'll find 800 numbers for them or other codependent leaders who aren't smart as you. Farm them out. Farm them out. Build up the other two. You'll be happy. Okay, so role play time. Sarah, give Sarah a hand. Come on down. Sarah? Sarah, Sarah, Sarah.
You want chairs?
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Okay, Sarah, you guys, hush, hush, hush. Sarah, tell us where you're from, what you do, and who the person is.
Okay. Well, I live in Fort Wayne right now, but I'm from Texas. I just moved here about a year ago.
What part of Texas?
Outside the countryside of Houston.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yep, yep. From Brenham, Texas, where Bluebell's made. Yeah, yeah. So,
Go Bluebell.
go Bluebell. They're back on the market. They're back on the market. That's right. They had a little issue. Anyway, what was my next question?
My next question was, what do you do?
What do I do? I don't know.
Are you here full time?
I'm in school full time. Yeah.
Very cool.
I work part time for two different places.
So you're here. Your full-time job is at the institute and working under Dr. Jerry Davidson. Great. Okay. And we know
Sister-in-law.
the sister-in-law. And what's the problem that you want to solve? I want one problem. It's not like give her another personality. We don't do that.
Okay.
One problem we can solve in a conversation.
She doesn't include me. I don't have value to her.
Okay. Do you know why?
She knows my husband better than I do. She is his woman. I'm not.
They're brother and sister. Your husband is her brother.
Correct.
And they're sort of enmeshed and fused.
She thinks that. He wouldn't agree.
Got it. Okay. But would you like to be included? Would you like to be part of that?
At this point, I'm so angry, no. But yeah, I think I would.
Ultimately,
deeply, yeah.
it's family. Okay. All right. You see the situation. What do we call her?
Carrie.
Carrie. Okay. So we're going to have a conversation. And by the way, this is a very organic process. I never know where it's going to go. But here's the thing. When she and I finish the engagement, I'm going to ask you guys, what are the universal relational skills you learn about body language, about handling blame, about containing things, about staying constant and caring but holding your limits, strategic stuff, tactical stuff. This is the conversation with your direct you never had. All right? So I'm inviting you to lunch. We're at Starbucks, okay?
Okay.
Carrie? Okay. Hey, Carrie.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm Carrie. Okay.
Yeah, you're the crazy one. I'm the healthy Sarah. So be as crazy as she is. Thanks for coming to lunch. How you doing? What's up?
Oh, just texting. They're calling me.
Oh, okay.
My kids are really great at sports, and I
know.
love doing marathons. I'm so wonderful. I exercise. I perform.
So cool.
I'm so great.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And I do love how active you are in life. I have something of some gravity to talk to you about, Carrie.
Oh. Okay. I got somewhere to go in 15 minutes, but
Okay. Tell me when I can talk to you for an hour. So, is there time on your calendar? Maybe we could do.
no. I have 4 kids. I'm really busy. I don't work, but I have 4 kids, and that's all I do, and they're
Okay.
all over 8.
So the longest I can have a serious conversation with you is 15 minutes for the foreseeable future. I just want to get it clear right
That's
here.
probably, yeah.
All right, I'll do it for now then.
Okay.
I'll try to knock it out pretty soon. It's about me and you, honestly. I don't feel included in your life, and I would like to be.
What do you mean by that? I had the same problem with my sister-in-laws, and I do so much better than they did with me, so I think I'm doing pretty good.
I'm sure kind of in your frame you are, but can I tell you how it feels for me? Like, I think I take a lot of initiative with you, and you don't. And I know you always say it's the kids and all that. I get that. You got 4 kids, but it's sort of like I'm doing 90% of the reaching out, and I don't get anything, and you never invite me to anything.
And she would just, and I'm just going to start
Do whatever
bawling.
okay. Oh, was that her?
I'm victim now.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. Say what she would say. You're making interpretations for her.
She would call Mom. Mom, this is what happened.
Wait a minute. While we're at Starbucks?
She
No,
would
do
call
whatever
me.
she do in the moment. It's me and you. It's I thou. Don't do that stuff.
I need a chair.
Okay.
Okay, did not face.
So that's what I'm asking. So I'd like for that to happen. How you feel about us changing the dynamic?
I think we're doing really good. I mean,
Carrie, remember when 3 minutes ago you said you thought that, and I said some reasons that I didn't think they were true? Remember that part of the conversation?
I've been doing a great job including you. I mean, I invited you to this, and
Can we have a rule that when I say something, you understand it first? And when I'm being dead serious, and when you say something, instead of telling you why you're wrong, I'll try to understand you. Can we have that rule? Okay, let's try it again. I don't feel included because I reach out 90% of the time, and you hardly ever let me in on things. A few things you do, but not at the level of engagement I like. And I feel like there's a real imbalance here, and I'd like to have more of that. So here's what I need to know from you, Carrie. You can either say, I'm not interested, you're not one of my key people, and I'll grieve it and I'll move on. Or you can say, I'll do better. I think those are two good options. What do you think? I don't have to be your best friend. I want more, but if you don't want more, you got a choice. So tell me what you'd like to do about that.
Okay, I think we can work towards that. Towards being
But I gave you
closer.
two options.
I think we can work towards being closer.
Thank you. Well, what would that mean? Would that mean that I can expect you to invite me to more social things that you're doing and that sort of thing, even though you're busy? Will you do
You
that?
can come to the Y with me.
Has she not been doing that?
Include me to the Y?
Uh-huh.
No.
Would you like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That means so much. I think it'd be a fun time for us to work out and all that. Thank you very much. Will you make more of an effort to, when I want to invite you to something cool, that instead of busy, and I respect you're busy, that you'll do more for me too? Thank you so much. Tell you what, for me, I'm in a growth process right now. I'm learning a lot about human growth, and change is very hard. Can we check back in 30 days to see if there's been really behavioral change?
I'll check my schedule. I think so.
Why don't we calendar it right now? You're so busy. How is today's the 20th, how's the 27th of September to check back and talk about our relationship?
That'll be just fine.
Okay, you didn't write it down.
My paper calendar's in the car.
Okay, go get it. I'm dead serious. It doesn't happen if it's not calendared. Good. So how did it look? The soccer games and everything okay?
Yeah, we'll be just fine, yeah.
Thank you. What can I do to be a better friend to you? I just appreciate your movements. And what can I do?
Come to more soccer games, I think, would probably be.
I think, honestly, I felt excluded, so I bailed on your kids, and I feel really bad about that because I love your kids. But I think I felt so much like I don't belong that I kind of blew it all off, and I will start going to the soccer games, and maybe we can sit together in kibitz or whatever, but I so would love that. Is that cool?
Perfect.
All right, great. We're in good shape. Thank you. All right. Sarah, you threw some softballs. I think she's harder than that. I think you were just nice to me. She came around way too fast. But thank you for doing the first one. All right, so what did you notice? First off, what was it like for you emotionally to go through that?
For me to be at a place where I can respond to her and want to spend time with her, that's what makes me want.
Because you don't feel it yet. Yeah, okay. So you're going to work on the anger and the grief and all that somewhere else, but it's going to give you the bandwidth to come back. So you're willing to try to engage. Great. What did you notice with the strategies, the tactics, the way the conversation meandered, where I was going to? What did you notice in body language and tactics? And these are the things I want you to write down for you because you've got to carry in your life. Yes?
I love that you finally just got to the point and gave her two options. You can, if you're not important, if I'm not important, that's cool, I'll grieve it, but otherwise.
Embrace their freedom. They don't have to like you. You just want clarity. I just wanted to get clarity. She could have said, actually, you're a C-level friend. I'll grieve it. I can go. But get the clarity. Great. You're picking that up. Somebody else. Yes?
I didn't see you blaming, I saw you just owning your feelings and actually talking about your own experience.
Yeah. I did a lot more I than you. I didn't want her to feel beat up. Yes, sir?
I saw movement to action.
Yes. Yeah. You got to end up with movement to action. If it's not behavioral change, it's kind of like we just wasted time. So what will you do? What will I? I had to get the calendar. I had to get it. Yes?
You explained your needs,
Which were?
a closer friendship.
That's all I wanted to do. And that's a very vulnerable thing, yes.
Your body language was not threatening. And when you talked about moving away from the kids, you actually stepped back. You actually.
I did?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I think the kinesthetic took over. I think you're right. Because I wanted to make sure that she knew that I'm not trying to intrude on anybody. That was a good observation. That was intuitive. Fred?
Created rules of engagement. So when you're trying to communicate, she wasn't hearing you, you took the time to establish a clear rule of communication.
You must do that, especially with the talkers. Sometimes you got to say, and I'm not kidding. I've done it a million times. I love our potential, but I have a kind of, let's have a ground rule that I'll finish a thought and before you say something, and you finish your thought before I say something. And some people have never done that. Like you say, I think, well, here's what I think. Yeah, okay, we're not doing that in this conversation. Let's try it again. I'll finish your thought. Sometimes I've had to say, another one, a really key one I use is oh gosh, what is it? It was the finish the thought thing, but then there was the, I'll get in a second. It's really basic. I'll need you to paraphrase what I say before, you know, that all the Rogerian stuff is really good, the Harville Hendricks stuff. And sometimes I'll say, here's another one. I kind of set this up. I'll say, I would like for you to have permission to speak freely into my life. If I'm screwing up, if I got a bad attitude, if I'm being self-centered and narcissistic, would you do that? And they go, yeah. And then you go, oh, okay, well, would you do that? Let me do that. And then they go, ugh, busted, you know, because that's the way the Bible teaches. And I just say, I'm willing to open my kimono to my life with you. God, I have permission to speak freely with you. And most people will say, well, yeah, and then you got them. Okay. What else did you notice? In the back.
I was just wondering, what would you have done if she just completely did not recognize the need and just always put it back on you, like you're too needy, you can't leave?
I'd have gotten very vulnerable, and I said, Carrie, can I tell you my experience right now? And then you, I know, I get that. Do you mind if I tell you? And then you, Carrie, do you remember the thing about like we respect each other's? Yeah, okay. Can I say? I'm very vulnerable then. Can I say something? Yes. I'm feeling so left out right now. I'm feeling so alone and helpless, and I don't know what to do because I can't tell you any truth or my feelings without a reaction. 90% of the time, they'll calm down. They'll go, yeah, my husband does tell me that, you know. If they keep escalating, you just end the conversation, try another day. But the very severe pathologies can't handle that. But most of them will go, all right, you take a turn. But don't come in and escalate. Come in and be vulnerable. I feel sort of helpless and shut down. Most people go, all right, what have you got to say? Vulnerable wins. Yes?
How do you keep the conversation from turning into a fight and going into defensiveness, especially if they start bringing that towards you and really
Okay,
attacking you?
here's the answer. If you're moving toward a fight because everybody's aggro, everybody goes alpha, remember, you got two kids in a sandbox, right? And both kids are throwing sand at each other. One of them decides to say, I'm going to be the grown-up. I will be the adult. And I know you're throwing stuff at me and blaming and projecting your mom onto me and all that. I'm going to be the grown-up, and I'll contain a few arrows for the sake of the relationship. That's what grown-ups do. You choose to be the adult in that conversation. And I'm not going to react back. And I might have to go call my life team later and go, okay, I'm getting ready to go eat Oreos to help me, you know. But in the moment, I'm going to contain a few things because I'm going to lose a few battles to win a war. I'll take a few hits to win the war of relationship. Be the grown-up. Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
What do you do when they get robotic?
Get robotic?
So
That's when you say,
so they're just complying with everything.
yeah, and then you say, Carrie, it really doesn't, are you sure you feel this? Because it feels to me you kind of shut down. You're such a warm person, and you're bubbly, and now you're just kind of saying yes, no answers. When I get like that, it's because I'm really upset and sad and angry, and I shut down. I've done this too. Are you feeling other things? And most of the time we'll go, yes, I'm feeling some stuff, but you vulnerably bring out the feelings. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
You just said the fear pathologies won't respond to your own vulnerabilities.
Can you say that louder?
You said the fear pathologies won't respond.
No, the more severe pathologies, yeah. Like on a DSM level, the more primitive borderline stuff, they won't get it. Yes, sir.
I noticed that you ended it by asking her for something that she could ask.
You noticed that? Yes. And I did that because I have a very strong belief that no relationship is 100% the other guy's fault. There's always something I can change on. They might say, come see my kids or whatever. But a pastor told me this a long time ago. He said, the ground is all level at the cross. And I love that because I want to get out of the moral high playing field where I'm seen as the judge, the perfect Christian. Because when you're the judge, perfect Christian, how's the other person feel? I'm feeling judged. I'm feeling like one down. I'm feeling like the kid. And I want to say, I want to grow too. And so she just said to see my kids, and it's sort of like, hey, we're on the same ground here. I've got to change. Sarah's got to change. Carrie's got to change. I want a moral level playing field so they don't go into a little kid position and push against me. All right? Last one.
Is it worth having this kind of conversation with somebody that you know is like a chronic or a fool in your terms?
Yes. Yes. And here's why I say that. Because Paul was a fool, and God thought enough of him to strike him blind in Damascus. And David was an adulterer and a murderer, and God thought enough to send Nathan down and say, you're that man, and we probably wouldn't be alive today if that happened. I've been a fool, and I don't know if I've been contaminant, but I know I've been chronic, and God bless somebody came along in my life and were redemptive and kicked my butt and opened my eyes. I feel very strongly about this. You guys might be the only Jesus that your chronic feels. Now, after 2 or 3 times, you got to kick the dust off your sandals. But everybody deserves. If you've never said it, and everybody's, and I hate it when Christians gossip. Can you believe how bad they are? Did you say anything to them? No. Anyway, can you believe how bad they are? They're sinning. Matthew 18 says, if your brother sins against you, go have a prayer chain and pray about him, but don't talk to him, right? That was a joke because of course. In psychology, we call it triangulating. In the Bible, it's called gossiping. That person needs for you, and you might be the one person that came in and said, do you know how you're impacting people? And they might go, no, nobody's ever thought enough to tell me. You are critical, you have a work ethic that's struggling, you control people, and they might go, nobody's ever taught me that. And I don't want to be the person who had that opportunity, didn't give them a chance. So they all need 2 or 3 chances because I did. Yes?
Yeah, including, I just like the way that you did the follow-up, like let's check on this in 30 days, because you're going to have several conversations.
Yes, she's not going to get another attitude because she's busy. She's got 4 kids. So let's check on, and you might say, gosh, it was great. Or you might say, you know, you didn't call me once. So you have another lunch and another lunch. Exactly right. Okay, guys, here's my point. You can do this. This does not take a degree. These are life skills that are research-based. You can do this stuff. So, Scotty?
We'll go ahead.
Thank you.